let's talk race distances. You may have heard you get like an Ironman triathlon or an Olympic triathlon or a sprint triathlon. These are all triathlons because they're all made up of a swim followed by a bike followed by a run, all one after the other without a break. However, an Ironman triathlon is longer than a sprint triathlon. If you're going to want to race triathlon, you might want to know what you're signing up for. You also might want to make sure you're signing up to the right type of race, because if you accidentally sign up for an Ironman when you meant to sign up for a sprint, you're in for a very different day. Trust me. It's like how all thumbs are fingers, but not all fingers are thumbs. All distances are triathlons, but not all triathlons are an Ironman. I think that works. It worked when I wrote it in a blog post, so if you want to make more sense rather than me rambling, you can read that on my website. It's linked below. Otherwise, let's get into this. Other note, this will all mainly be in kilometres because I'm millennial British and I don't know what a mile is. I don't know what a mile is. At the end, I do have a bit of a chart that has miles in as well, if that helps. But yeah, sorry, I'm a kilometres person. You know what? You should run with kilometres anyway because they're smaller than miles, so they go faster. Little tip. Makes you feel like you're doing more quicker. Anyway, here we go. There are 4 main distances in triathlon: sprint, standard, half-ironman, and Ironman. Let's start with the standard triathlon, because why would we not start with the standard when it's called the standard? It's also called an Olympic because, strangely, it's the distance they do in the Olympics. It consists of a 1500 metre swim, then a 40-kilometre bike, finished with a 10k run. If you're thinking that's a little bit too much to begin with, don't worry, they do a sprint distance, which is pretty much half of that. 750 metre swim, a 20-kilometre bike, and then a 5k run. Now, sprint distances kind of generally change. The sprint distance is kind of a suggestion, if you will. Not all race organisers will follow that, but that's the general rule. It's half a standard. If we apply that same logic the other way, you move into your half-ironman, a 1900 metre swim, followed by a 90-kilometre bike ride, and then a 21-kilometre run, which is a half marathon. Beyond that, you've got your Ironman, which strangely is double a half-Ironman. That's a 3800 metre swim, a 180-kilometre bike, and then a 42-kilometre run, which is a full marathon. So they're all kind of half of each other. You could sort of divide them by 2 and get the one below it. So a half Ironman is half an Ironman, a sprint is half a standard. There's a slight difference between a half Ironman and a standard where the swim and the bike don't quite add up to half. I feel like they got their maths a little bit screwed up there. Technically, the half Ironman is more right than the standard because a triathlon originated with an Ironman, so really the standard got it wrong, not the other way around. But I think they thought that was weird numbers, so they went their own way with it. For the total distances, a sprint, you're looking at about 30.5 kilometres or 19 miles, and for an average beginner that'll take about 1.5 to 2 hours. Standard is 51.5k or 32.1 miles, and that'll take you about 3 hours. Half Ironman is 113 kilometres, 70.3 miles, because a half Ironman is also sometimes known as a 70.3, and that'll take you about 6 hours. By the time you get to an Ironman, you're at 226 kilometres or 140.6 miles, and that could take you anywhere between 11 to 15 hours. There's usually a cut-off around 16 or 17 hours, might depend on the race. Yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know. Those are the 4 main distances. If you haven't done any triathlons before, I would recommend you start with a sprint just to see if you like it. It's not too difficult to train for a sprint triathlon. By the time you're looking at a standard triathlon, you have to start looking into nutrition, longer bike rides. Your swim has to be a bit better. They also get more expensive. Better if you start with a sprint just to see if you like it. Then you can advance to a standard, do a few of those, then maybe do a half Ironman. And if you're really feeling it, go for the Ironman. As I said, I have a full post on this on my website. It's all linked down below. It's got a much more detailed table of comparison for distances for each leg and the time it's going to take you. It's all in kilometres and miles. I'm really sorry. I don't know what a mile is. I can't picture it. I don't know. Someone says run a mile down the road. I don't know. I can't even mathematically work out from a kilometre. Miles don't fit in my head, I'm sorry. Also on my website there is a beginner's triathlon series. If you want to get into triathlon and don't know where to start, that is all on there. You can find it. I've also got a bunch more videos on my channel about triathlon stuff. If you have any questions, apparently I'm just explaining triathlon things now because there are no races to film. So yeah, I'm Georgie, here for all your triathlon needs, apparently. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was informative. I hope it has cleared up your questions about the distances of triathlons, because that was its purpose. Cool. That's all from me. I've explained distances now. Go and book a race. Pick one and go. Check out my site if you want some more info. See you on the start line. Bye. Yeah, I think that was pretty obvious. Let me get comfy. Do you want a bit more info on what is this hand doing? Yeah, right.